What's up, people? We're hanging out here at Exodus Gym in Wellington. It's the new secretary for the NZIFBB, hanging out with the biggest guy in the country. This is Big D, IFBB Pro, Darryn Onekawa. Kia ora, brother.
Kia ora, my mate. Thank you for having me, bro.
Hey, no worries.
May I just say before we get started, you have fantastic hair.
Well, thank you very much. So is yours. It's very smooth.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Have you got, what do you use in your hair, bro?
Just the standard, bro. Put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Comb my hair with a pork chop, bro. Get that greasy look.
All right, I'll take those tips on board, bro. Look, Dee, thanks for coming along, bro. This is your territory. What are your thoughts about the competition here in Wellies, and how do you think the athletes are going to place at the Nationals, bro?
I think first and foremost we've got a lot of quality athletes across the country, and I believe that the format that the NZIFBB are rolling out is showing that. We're getting a lot of the cream of the crop coming through, and the Nationals is going to be our jewel in the crown. But speaking more locally here, definitely our Wellington athletes have really put their hand up and said, look, we're going to be represented. I think a lot of people down here have got a point to prove that bodybuilding is not just in Auckland. It's down here, it's thriving, it's improving, it's growing, and there's a lot of people, like I say, that are down here. They're going to get up to Auckland and show the people how we do things down here. So I'm looking forward to it, bro. Look,
you're also an IFBB judge, so heading into the Nationals, let's start with men's physique. What do you think we're looking for, especially now that Olympia's over? What are your thoughts on the men's physique section?
At the end of the day, I think with the Olympia just being held at the weekend, it's given us a clear format in terms of what we need to do. Obviously, we're in line with the IFBB in America, so that gives us a true indication of how athletes want to look. You can see that those guys are built, they aren't just guys off the street that go to the gym once every now and again. They've actually put a lot of time and effort, and they're taking a lot of time to create a physique that's up on stage and shows everyone that they're putting in the hours. So it's going to be an interesting show. It's the biggest and fastest growing category in the country and across the world, basically, thanks to the IFBB. So there's going to be a lot of guys up there vying for that #1 spot, looking for the national title and potentially a position to go and represent New Zealand on the bigger international stage. So it's going to be awesome, mate.
Let's talk about the battle between Sam and Kenny. I know you're a judge, so you can't give too much away, but the boys have been talking. I've interviewed them both, and they each are very confident in their own ability to bring the best package possible and take that pro card.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. These two guys are going to turn up on stage, and they're going to be the best that they can possibly be. I'm sure they've both done their homework. They know that there's going to be no chance for them to make a mistake, so the show is basically theirs to lose. But I will go on and say that it's not a two-man race. There are other guys up there that are going to be vying for that top position, so with respect to those other guys up there as well, they're all going to have to be game on point and make sure that they've all done their homework, because whoever doesn't do the hard yards, the hours of cardio, watch the diet and all that sort of stuff, someone else is going to slip in and take their place. So, but that makes for good entertainment, and I believe that's what gets the best out of your competitors. It certainly gets the best out of me, knowing that there's someone out there who's training 3 hours a day. Well, I'm going to train 4. Someone who's doing 3 hours cardio a day on 2,500 calories, well, I'll do more. Because if you want to be the best, you have to be prepared to work the hardest, and it's never ever going to change. And so coming from a personal point of view, that's the challenge that I love about bodybuilding, and that's what I think you have to have that attitude if you want to succeed at this. The best on the night takes the title. Simple as that. What
do you think the judges and yourself will be looking for on the night?
I was talking with Darryn when he was here in New Zealand, and I said to him, look, Darryn, has bodybuilding shifted back to the more aesthetically pleasing, smaller athletes, of yesteryear? And he simply said to me, he says, at the end of the day, the best athlete's going to win. He says, it doesn't matter if it's the big guy or the smaller guy, the best guy's going to win. And that's obviously common sense, but both Cruz and Nick bring a completely different package to the stage. Okay, Nick is just He's just enormous. Brings a lot of mass. He's going to be hard as nails. He's going to be the guy that everyone wants to sit in their chair and wait and see when he walks out, because he is, you know, in my opinion, what bodybuilding is kind of about, if you know what I mean. It's about that whole mass monster, that freak.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
And I say freak in a very, very respectful way.
Yeah.
Then of course you've got Cruz, who brings something completely different. He's got that symmetry, that proportion, the more flowing lines. He's got beautiful balance, everything else. But make no mistake, whoever comes in there with the best overall package, symmetry, balance, proportion, conditioning, and all those things being in balance, there's your winner. Okay, and let's not forget, obviously, the boys at Sam and etc. etc. So it's going to be a big battle, and our judging panel across the board are going to have a huge task to try and figure out who's the best. And I'm sure there is going to be a little bit of splitting of hairs going on.
Thank you so much, Big D, for having a chat with us. Really appreciate your time, especially with the work that you do behind the scenes and the way you push the athletes to their absolute limits. So I really appreciate your time. Big D, Darryn Onekawa, IFBB Pro and NZIFBB Judge. Thank you for your time, brother.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you for having me. Go the athletes. NZIFBB, #1.